This is Dr. Ron, and I'm with you with another episode of Life Lessons and Stories. Yes, we're back again, and it is episode number 81. So we're kind of marching along our way, and hopefully, in the not too distant future, we will be at 100 episodes. That'll be an event for us, lots of time and effort, and I'm not the only one that does this. My wife, who supports me in this effort, she's actually the editor and she's the boss. She works very hard at making this worthwhile for those that happen to chance upon our channel and watch some of the content. Without her, it wouldn't get done, obviously. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, let me give you the title of this episode. The title is The Third Best Skill You Should Learn and Know. Why the third best skill? Well, if you want to find out why, stick around. We'll get to it in just a moment. But if you could, please like, share, and subscribe, and that will help us with the YouTube algorithm. Okay, so what is this, the third best skill you should know? What is it, and how is it going to be impactful in your life? Well, the third best skill is adaptation, learning how to be adaptable to the environment. Now, the first skill, of course, is being able to practice good, solid, critical thinking, looking at the facts, look at the facts in context, because facts without context are meaningless. And then the second best skill is being able to create a plan that will drive you forward, that will propel you forward in achieving some goal. And of course, you have to execute to that plan. So creating and executing to the plan is that second skill set. The third, of course, is because of the environment we're in, being able to be flexible and nimble, being adaptable. Now, why is that important? Because we work and live in a Darwinian environment. And what that means is bad things happen, things that are counter to what we're trying to achieve, things that become roadblocks or barriers that would come in front of us. And for the lesser person, perhaps, because they're not driven by motivation or the desire to achieve, they would just throw up their hands and say, no more, no more, I'm done. But not you. Not you. You want to learn how to be flexible and adaptable and to be successful in our Darwinian environment. So, what is that? That environment is survival of the fittest. Now, I'm not saying that only you can be a winner and nobody else, but in striving toward your goals, you're the one that's going to be the winner or not, right? And striving toward the goals, you're going to be the winner or not. So, what is the Darwinian environment? It is one that says, I am going to account for happenstance because I know things will come out that if I'm not flexible and nimble, I'm not going to be able to accomplish that goal. Those things that occur before me, those things that are anticipated, those things that are not anticipated, they're going to be barriers against me, preventing me from achieving. Okay, so how does thinking critical help? Well, it tells you that you know how to solve problems. It tells us you take in the facts, you work through the problem, and every problem is not a problem. Every problem is an opportunity to excel. So we work through the problems because they're opportunities that will put us in a better place tomorrow than we are today, that will put our family in a better place tomorrow than we are today. So being able to think critically about what it is we're trying to achieve, being able to create a plan and execute to the plan also is part and parcel, and then being flexible and nimble because things happen that would drive modifications to our plan or changing the plan altogether. If we're not able to respond in an appropriate amount of time, then those plans are no longer valid. And we need to either modify them or change them so that we're still able to achieve that objective out in the future. Happenstance happens and it lays waste to the best made plan. And if that's the case, if it does occur, don't throw up your hands and frantically say, I give up. Because for you to be successful, you need to take in the facts, being able to work to a plan that's been modified or create new ones that will then put you in a position to achieve. Now, we don't want to be driven by happenstance. We don't want to be driven by other people's whims. And if we don't create a plan through that critical thinking or modify the plan through that critical thinking, and we're not being able to be very agile, then we're going to fall prey to the world. That means we're going to fall prey to anything and everything that could become a major roadblock. How do you prevent that? How do you become adaptable? Well, there are about 7 things that I've come up with that really is the part of being adaptable, that plays the part in allowing you to become adaptable. And these are things that you can learn to do, can look out for, and can develop the infrastructure for. And you're going to hear that word again in just a moment. The first one is always be learning and working through puzzles. What? How does always be in a stance of learning and trying to solve puzzles play a part in adaptability? Well, what it does is it exercises the mind. It allows you to play that mental game of chess that if this happens, then I'll do this. If that happens, I'll do this and still be able to achieve. So we always have to be working through the barriers. We always have to be working through opportunities that will allow us to excel. So if we're always learning new techniques and new tools, and we're talking about the puzzles to our friends and why this is something that is perceived as a barrier, but in reality, it's not. That exercises the muscles of the brain. And as with physical muscles, the more you use them, the stronger you get, the more nimble you become. So we have to develop that nimble flexibility, that mental nimbleness. Number 2, always be developing your infrastructure of support. Now, the reason why that is so important is we're not jacks of all trade and masters of all. No, we have to be able to depend on experts, people that have skill sets and capability that are well beyond our skill sets and capability. And because we cannot know everything about everything, we have to depend on others to provide us with that skill set, to provide us with that opportunity to work a different path. So these provisioners really are part of your infrastructure. They're people that are experts or subject matter experts that you can lean on or call upon to help you resolve an issue that might have been a barrier, but now becomes an opportunity. Number 3, don't let time pressure you into a frantic moment. Work through the short fuses, make mistakes and learn from them, and you'll get better at it. The problem with things that don't go your way typically is that people throw up their hands and say, again, no more, no more, I give up. This is not worth the effort. And to those people, I would say you're wrong. You learn from it, you improve upon it the next time and do better. So don't allow yourself to become frantic. Time is always ticking, but you can work time in your own pace and make it work for you. The thing is if you get frantic or nervous or angry, you're not thinking clearly. And you must always have a very level-headed approach to problems and opportunities to excel. Because in having that level-headed approach and not fall prey to the time the clock is ticking, you're able to going to look at things in a matter-of-fact way and use what you learn from that. Number 4, always be seeking alternative pathways just in case. Even though the plan may be working beautifully, your original plan, be looking and scanning the horizon and thinking about what could happen to throw you off kilter and derail your plan. If you're looking and always thinking about alternative pathways, then should anything negative happen that would throw you off plan, you can create a new pathway or leverage one that you've already been thinking about and still achieve the same end goal. So it's again part of that puzzle solving problem process that we use, that critical thinking. You're never done with it, even though you may be executing well to the original plan. Always keep that in mind. Work through the scenarios. That's number 5. Even if these are not going, if everything is going right. The scenarios say, okay, if this negative thing happens, I will draw in these resources and apply them in this direction and still be able to achieve my original goal, my original thing that I wanted to make happen for myself in my career or for my family, right? So the thing is, you're rolling the dice, looking at different combinations of what could go wrong, and then you're coming up through that scenario with what you can do to take countermeasures to those threats. Number 6, become a better decision maker. Know when there's no more value in proceeding down that path. You know, we can analyze things to the point that we're no longer able to move forward. In business, it's an old saying, and it comes back from when I first heard it back in the 70s and 80s. You know, it's called paralysis by analysis. We're going to just do a little more analysis. We're going to try to look at it a different way and approach it in a different manner to the nth degree. And through that paralysis, the paralysis by analysis, all forward momentum stops. Everything is a dead stop because you're not able to say enough is enough. I've derived all the value through that analysis I can get. Anything else is inconsequential. Let's move forward. That's what you need to be able to do. You don't want to analyze things down to the atomic level and cease all progress. At some point, it's going to be good enough. And that's the real key point here. You have to be able to determine when any more analysis is non-value added and it's good enough. Let's proceed. Number 7, obviously, this is the whole key point behind everything, and it's really the gasoline that fuels the engine. Work hard at working hard. All the previous steps to be adaptable and nimble is fueled by you being able to work hard at working hard. If you're not willing to work hard at working hard, you're not going to make progress. And barriers are going to crop up in front of you, and you're going to throw your hands up. So be willing to do whatever it takes from an energy standpoint, a focus standpoint, a time allocation standpoint. Be willing to do all of that to work hard and work through the barrier. By doing that, you're going to be able to be flexible and nimble and accomplish your goals by doing so. Okay, so let's recap. I know that's been a lot of verbiage in a very short amount of time, but the first skill set is developing and becoming a good critical thinker. The second skill set is to be able to create a plan and execute to that plan. And the third skill set is becoming adaptable and nimble, being able to modify or throw out the plan and create new in a very short amount of time, given the facts on the ground, given the nature of that Darwinian environment, survival of the fittest. If you could do these 3 things and all of that, work hard at working hard to implement and execute, you're going to be successful. And with that, my friends, I think we're done. You take care of yourself. You do well for yourself and your family. All the best.